What is a Genlocke? In order to answer that question, we have to start by answering what is a Nuzlocke. A Nuzlocke is a way to make a Pokemon game a little more challenging with several self-imposed rules. The core rules are: only the first Pokemon on any route can be caught. If a Pokemon faints, they are considered dead and must be permanently boxed. Battle mode played on set. Oh, also, you need to nickname all your Pokemon so that way you can grow an unbreakable bond only to have them ripped from your cold, loveless hands. The next variation we need to discuss is the Hardcore Nuzlocke, which is challenge mode for those truly cultured in the fine ways of suffering. Along with the core rules, no items can be used in battle, held items are okay, and no overleveling, meaning my Pokemon can only reach a max level of the next gym leader's ace Pokemon. Fun stuff, really. What on apples is a Genlocke? A Genlocke is another challenge mode that I am partaking in that requires me to complete a Hardcore Nuzlocke of every single mainstream Pokemon game. Yup, that's 30 plus games, but that's not all. I have to Hardcore Nuzlocke them in order of their release. That's Pokemon Red, Blue, all the way to the current Sword and Shield. And on top of that, I cannot use the same 6 Pokemon for any of the Elite Four challenges. Oh god, this can't be good for my health. Ooh, also let's say for brownie points, if I can do this straight through without wiping, not even once, I mean, if I can pull something off like that crazy, who knows? Maybe some people might even start calling me the world's best Nuzlocke. Anyway, what better way to start a challenge off of this caliber than to start with my very first Pokemon game I ever played? Yup, that's right, baby. Hop on the nostalgic school bus and please refrain from sticking your arms out the window. This is how I Hardcore Nuzlocked Pokemon Red. We start things off by naming our rival Apples, cause if you know, then you know. Then choose our little fire lizard as our starter. We nickname him Hot Salsa and continue to slap the pixels of Apple's Squirtle. Really dumb how the rival always chooses the type advantage Pokemon. Why can't all rivals be like Hop? He's like the best rival. Anyway, we pretty much coast on through delivering the parcel and having to purchase our own Pokeballs because Gen 1 doesn't know quality service. Once we receive the balls of containment, our challenge begins. We set off to Route 1 where we encounter a RATTATA, and Hot Salsa one-shots it. There goes our first possible encounter. If this is an omen of things to come, man, am I glad that I'm not superstitious. Anywho, we make our way to the route west of Viridian to meet our first encounter, a female Nidoran. I was so scared that Hot Salsa might be a little too spicy for this Pokemon, but after a few attacks and a capture attempts, we succeed in catching our first Pokemon and nickname it Coffee. Next, we catch a Weedle on Route 2 and nickname it Plum, then a Metapod in Viridian Forest and nickname it Peanuts cause they're hard-bodied. Now it's starting to look like a pretty good team to get our first badge. We level up and evolve Plum and Peanuts and set forth to take on our first gym. Typically all my Pokemon aside from Nidoran are extremely weak to rock type Pokemon, but due to the physical special split in Gen 1 through 3 and the fact that none of Brock's Pokemon have rock type moves, we can exploit this and use our specially offensive Peanuts to deal some heavy damage. 2 hits is enough to take out GEODUDE, and now it's just my Peanuts versus ONIX. We hit a confusion and it looks like it's going to be a 3-turn KO. However, ONIX then uses Bide, which is a dangerous move. If we don't successfully land our next 2 hits and miss even one of them, ONIX can return the damage back to us and give us our first death of the run. It's too soon to be parting ways with any of our Pokemon. Luckily, we land all our confusions and pick up our first badge. Now with our new level cap, we set forth to our next destination, and completing this challenge, we run into a Pidgey on Route 3 that we catch and nickname Kellogg's, then we catch a Geodude in Mount Moon and nickname Cereal. Everything is going great for us until we accidentally run into this guy. This rocking rut used Game Shark to insert a level 16 Raticate with Hyper Fang that nearly kills my Hot Salsa and leaves it flinched. We then pivot into Plum when the unthinkable happened.
No! God, please, no! No!
Plum dies to a Hyper Fang. I'm devastated. To lose a Pokemon this early on, enough sulking. We still need to beat this grunt and his oversized rat. Peanuts comes out to deliver a nice confusion, but it doesn't do enough damage even with the critical hit. However, then my opponent lands a critical hit of their own and brings Peanut down to 1 freaking health. 1 HP. This is too much for my little apple-shaped heart. We also land another crit, and this seems to be a battle of crits. We bring out Cereal knowing he can tank some physical hits, but even he doesn't prove to be any match for the feral hamster. As I look to switch out Cereal, I decide that we can't sacrifice another Pokemon to this Raticate, and I choose to stay in and sack my own Cereal. It's Reckless, but if you guys know me by now, Reckless is kind of my middle name. As we start to say our goodbyes, the most amazing thing happened. Raticate missed. With disbelief, GEODUDE quickly tackles the rat and secures the victory. I never doubted you, little buddy, not even for 1 second. Now we have to head back to the Pokemon Center and permanently box Plum. After a small funeral service, I train my team up and evolve Kellogg's on Coffee. I use a Moonstone to fully evolve Coffee because I ain't playing no more games. You hear me, Team Rocket? I'm coming for blood. Anyway, we easily clear Mount Moon with the new team. We catch a SPEAROW on Route 4 and name it Yam. Next up is either our rival or the gym leader, and although our team is pretty beefy, I don't want to risk losing another member, so I set out to catch a potential grass type north of Cerulean. We slap our rival and clear the Nugget Bridge. We then run into a wild ODDISH on Route 24, exactly what I was searching for. After what seemed to be like 100 turns, we finally catch it and nickname it Cookie. We also run into an Abra on Route 25, and after putting it to sleep successfully, catch it. We nickname it Onion, and with that head back to challenge the gym leader. After training and evolving our new compadres, we challenge Misty and lead with Cookie. We miss our first sleep powder, which makes me hesitant on trying another, so we opt for an Absorb, which does huge damage. We easily take out Staryu with a couple more Absorbs, bringing our Misty's Starmie. Starmie's a tank, but we seem to be healing more than the damage receiving, so with a few more turns we secure the bag and collect the second badge. We then decide to help out Bill, the cosplayer, in exchange for the SSN ticket. We then catch a Mankey on Route 5 and nickname it Pepper, and a Magikarp on Route 6 that we nickname Mustard. Next up is our rival battle on the cruise liner itself. Cereal takes out his Pidgeotto only to have him send out a level 16 Raticate. This seems way too familiar and way too soon, to be honest. We pivot into Coffee, who takes it out easily. Next up is KADABRA, who we switch in Yam for. Yam misses but then lands a Peck only to have it disabled the next turn. We switch into Cookie to take on his own starter Pokemon, and Cookie mops the deck with it. A couple of Absorbs secures us the victory. After we rub the captain's belly and read him a nice bedtime story, we head over to the Vermilion Gym, home of the most annoying gym puzzle ever. Like, seriously, what is the purpose of looking in trash cans? Is there a moral of the story I'm just not getting here, like one man's trash is another man's secret button to challenge the gym leader? Finally, it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge. We lead with Cereal, and quite honestly pretty much just sweep Surge's entire team with Dig. Do better, sir. Do better. With that, we pick up a third badge. We catch some more Pokemon that are probably going to grow old in our PC and make our way to Celadon City. At this point, we've got a pretty well-rounded team, so along with a few new faces, we take on Celadon Gym. Hello, I'd like to report a crime. Yes, the crime is thinking this gym stood a chance against my habanero. He is the goodest of boys. We easily take out Erica and receive our fourth badge. Halfway there, folks, but before we continue, I want to take a quick second to give thanks to everyone watching this video, and a special thanks to all my subscribers over on Twitch. If it weren't for you guys, I probably wouldn't be partaking in such a ridiculous challenge. Slap an apple in the comments so I know it's real. Next up, we evolve some key members of our team and receive the gift Pokemon Eevee, which we nicknamed Skittles. I feel like there's a theme here. We evolve Skittles into Jolteon and head over to the game corner Rocket Hideout. We slap a bunch of grunts and make our way to Giovanni, who Mustard pretty much sweeps. I put my Mustard on everything you see. Next up is the Pokemon Tower, where we slap our rival Silly and get the Pokeflute. We head over to the Snorlax off of Celadon City, only to not successfully catch it. Looks like this guy just wanted to nap instead. We then catch a Nidoran male in the Safari Zone and pick up some very important items. We successfully catch the other Snorlax and name it Hot Fudge, who is going to be a real hitter against Sabrina. With that, we head over to Silphco and run into our rival again. I think we may have slapped him one too many times, because he came to this battle with a vengeance. Skittles is able to one-shot the Pidgeot, and Mustard takes on the tiny pup. Yam comes in hot for Execute, but is put to sleep on the first turn. I bring in Hot Salsa for redemption as well, but he apparently would rather take a nap. Seems fitting. I then decide to pivot into Skittles, who becomes paralyzed upon entry, and with that, Apples has afflicted status ailments to at least half of my team. Skittles likes his eggs scrambled, and I switch into Yam because Skittles is way too valuable for the endgame. We take a side beam and stay asleep. We try again and stay asleep. I try for a third time, and probably because I was trying to teach Yam a lesson about falling asleep on the job, but Yam steady snoozing and took a side beam to the face to give us our second death. This one is on me entirely, but at least now Yam gets to sleep forever. I bring in Onion, who then obliterates Bigger Onion with a psychic, and our rival sends out a thick boy starter, Blastoise. We use Cookie to take it out, and with 2 petal dances we succeed. This one was rough. We lost our second Pokemon, as to be expected in a Nuzlocke, but still, I can do better. I need to do better. We meet up with Giovanni, and I use a combination of onion, cookie, and mustard to sweep the mobster tyrant, bringing peace to the people of Silphco. Next up is Koga. So we make our way through his house of mirrors. Also, I'm pretty sure Koga is the only gym leader to surround himself with trainers who use psychic type Pokemon. You know, the type that is super effective against his own poison type. Sheesh. I mean, different strokes for different folks, I guess. Anyway, we pay it forward by delivering a ton of Psychic Blasts to Koga's Pokemon, getting us our 5th badge. Next up is Sabrina, the Scarlet Witch. For this battle, we lead with Hot Fudge, who is an absolute unit. We start things off by tanking a side beam and knocking out her Kadabra. Next up is Ash Ketchum's dad. He raises up a defense, but we paralyze it and use a body slam, securing the knockout. Next up is Venomoth, but we need to preserve Hot Fudge for her Alakazam, so we switch into Kellogg's and knock out Mothra with a fly. Next up is a menacing Alakazam. However, since Kellogg's is a nutritious source of a good breakfast, we decide to stay in and frost Alakazam's flakes. Man, these puns are terrible. But what's not terrible is us having 6 badges. Let's go! Next 2 gym leaders are Blaine and Giovanni, who Mustard absolutely embarrasses with Surf, gaining us our last 2 badges and bringing us that much closer to completing our very first part of the ultimate Genlocke. After trucking through Victory Road, we do a little last minute team building and decide to go into the Elite 4 final challenge with Skittles, Onion, Hot Salsa, Hot Fudge, Buttercup, and Tea. It's time. For Lorelei, we use Skittles to rain down the power of Zeus himself, knocking out her first 3 Pokemon. Then she sends out Jinx, and things start to get a little bit chilly. We send out Hot Fudge, and he body slams Jinx, but then she sends out her Lapras, who freezes us with Blizzard. Things aren't looking too good, and this is still just the first Elite 4 member. We're starting to struggle. I send out Skittles to try and knock it out, however Lapras hangs on to confuse us. We do get lucky and end up not hurting ourselves in the confusion and knocking out the Lapras. After that battle, I heal my Pokemon and head on through to meet the joke of the Elite 4, Bruno. We lead with Onion and sweep with Psychic. I ran some calcs beforehand and knew Kadabra was the best counter to Bruno's laughable team. His ONIX has crap special defense and the other 3 are weak to Psychic. It was kind of a no-brainer. Next up is Agatha. For this battle, I was thinking of using T and causing a few earthquakes. In Gen 1, Gengar doesn't have the ability Levitate, and also Gen 1 AI will always select the type advantage move, even if it's not a damaging one. So even though it's faster, her Gengar uses Dream Eater because it's psychic, and we take it out with an earthquake. However, Golbat is part flying type, so we can't hit it with an earthquake. We switch in Skittles, who gets confused and hits itself twice. Luckily, her Golbat is a moron, and we take it out on the 3rd turn. We stay in to do some damage, but then she uses Nightshade and takes out a chunk of our health. So we switch into T, only to get him to fall asleep. And then we switch into Hot Salsa, who also gets put to sleep. That's so on brand. After a few attempts of waking up and not succeeding, I decide to bring out Onion, and we sweep with a bunch of side beams. I honestly don't know why we just didn't use Onion to begin with. Now the Dragon Champ himself. The final Elite 4 member, Sir Lance Dragon Dance-A-Lot. He starts things off with a menacing Gyarados, but we take it out with some Skittles. Taste that rainbow. We pivot into T and Blizzard his next 2 Dragonairs. He brings in an Aerodactyl who barely survives our Blizzard. Talk about hanging on to dear life. He uses a Hyper Potion. Then the next turn we switch into Buttercup, who takes a Hyper Beam like an absolute unit and takes out Lance's last 2 Pokemon. With that, we defeated the Elite 4 without losing any of our 6 Pokemon. Still, we have one more challenge left to face. One last apple to slap. My rival leaves with Pidgeot, who Skittles takes out instantly. Then Hotfudge comes in for Alakazam. He does, however, get off a Reflect, which is annoying, but we trade for a Paralysis, so I'll take it, and his Alakazam. Next up is RHYDON, and we bring in Buttercup, who gets lucky and dodges a one-hit KO move. Apples needs to chill, my dude. We surf the next two Pokemon off screen for him trying to play us like that. I mean, I'm KO, not you, buddy. Next up, we bring out Hot Salsa, who is actually awake for once, and obliterate his Executor. Then he sends out his final Pokemon, the thickest of thick boys, Blastoise. I know his Blastoise has a tremendous sweet tooth, so I send out some Skittles. However, Skittles packs quite a punch and annihilates him in one hit. Some would even say a one-hit KO. And with that, we became the champion and completed my very first hardcore Nuzlocke of this tremendous Genlocke. Honestly, I had a lot of fun and plan on completing these challenges regularly and uploading them here on YouTube. I don't know when I will get them uploaded, but if you want to follow along my insane Genlocke, head over to my Twitch and follow me on there, where I stream this challenge with the community. Well, that's how I hardcore Nuzlocke Pokemon Red, and next on my list is Pokemon Blue. Should be pretty straightforward. However, I am now not allowed to use any of the Pokemon I used in my Pokemon Red Elite 4 challenge run, which makes things just a tad bit more spicy. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so that way you can follow me along this journey, and leave a comment with some nickname theme suggestions for the future Genlocke runs, and who knows, I may even use it. Later.